Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety for the City of Huntington on May 20th. We will call the meeting to order beginning with a roll call.
Mayor Strick,
Present.
Danielle Albertson,
Present.
Megan Bonbrake,
Present.
Anthony Lesnickia.
Present.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting of May 6th. Is there a motion to bring the minutes to the floor for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the minutes from May 6th. Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the minutes as submitted. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. First item under old business is special event request regarding the Brat tent. We have Garen and Eli here today, so we'll invite them forward. State your name and address into the record, please. And is there a motion to authorize consideration of the request?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Okay. Gentlemen, welcome back.
How we doing? All right. So we got our event permit back from the state. It's signed and legal. The only thing the state requires that we do now is have this posted day of the event. So moving forward, we just got to finish the planning, which is we just got tents. We got a 20 by 30 tent coming from Warsaw. Snow fencing around. We got to get tables and chairs. Other than that, everything's pretty much good to go. We're still working on entertainment. Eli's working on that. And then planning. We got to finish all of that stuff. So we were just waiting on this to kind of move forward.
And I know the events largely get governed by excise, and you've got that approval there.
Yep.
I also know you've been working with Dave, the fire marshal. You guys are good on your plan with him, the floor plan and everything?
Yep. He talked to us that this tent will have to be inspected. So we'll have to get on his schedule for that. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and I know it was a while since we've looked at this, but was there anything from various departments, any outstanding issues or concerns?
The only comment I had was that we don't stake the tent down to the parking lot.
And this was cement blocked. Stakes were about $300 cheaper if we could have staked it. But since we have to bring in the cement blocks, it's going to cost us $300.
Yep.
Is what it is. They were going to repair the asphalt with that though. So, but I understand.
Questions or comments from board members?
What were you thinking as far as entertainment, like DJ or live or? Okay. I know the city uses like a lot of our downtown events. We have bands that we already use, or I'm not sure who sets those up, but I know, I mean, could we have a list available that maybe you guys could get that from
That'd be awesome.
one of the departments?
We put it out on Facebook and we got a lot of hits. We just got to
Lot of
start
people-
calling and contacting.
Okay.
Half of them were saying it's too late to get it, and then the other half were saying, let's go. So it's kind of like a starving artist type.
There you
scenario.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is June 14th, right?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. The event says 4 to 10. We were thinking running music more like a 6 to 9 kind of a thing, cutting it off an hour before that, 10 o'clock. That way people can wind down and get out. We're not going to be filling the downtown with music too late.
How late does the carnival usually go on? Does anybody remember?
I think you're going to be all right. And then I think the only other item I recall from previous discussion was just around the closure of the parking lot on Friday and just coordinating with the permit holders, which we can
Yep.
help with that, with identifying those folks.
You guys get us a list, maybe we could email them, or could you guys email them? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Probably go over to Metronet too and just remind them, but she's usually, I think we said last time, she pulls them out of there at 2 o'clock on Friday.
She said with her having the car show, and she's the organizer of the car show anyway, she said that her guys wouldn't be there that weekend anyways. All her trucks were going to be gone. They were going off-site, so that'll be good. Yeah.
Is there anything you guys would like to see? I mean, we want to do this every year, so something you don't want to see, or?
I think you've addressed the things we don't want to see by cooperating with excise, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to your establishments, so
All good. No Eli's boom boom room out there.
So-
Yeah.
Stripper pole? No? Okay.
you guys talk to the neighbors down there? I mean, everyone that is down.
No, we were.
Try not to.
We were waiting to get this, and, I mean, we'd like to get more involvement, like, so, you know, it's gonna cost us a lot of money to kick this off, and if we don't, you know, I'd like to make some money from doing it, so. Get some sponsors maybe for the tent, or the stage, or something.
Okay.
Nick's wants to do anything,
Yeah,
Tenderloin.
if anybody wants to talk to her, that would be great.
Not sure what her availability is.
Yeah.
She's not even paying attention.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments from board members? Not hearing any, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the special event request. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Appreciate you guys' work on bringing this back.
Thanks.
Next, under old business, we have the 2024 Street and Alley Paving Awards. Is there a motion to open discussion and consideration of the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Director Cutters.
Yes, thank you. The board will remember at the last Board of Works meeting, we opened bids on the 2024 street and alley paving. This year's project consists of 17 streets and 9 alleys that we are going to be resurfacing. We did get a Community Crossings Grant Award from NDOT that will be paying for 50% of the cost of the streets based on the bids we received. The lowest, most responsible bidder for the 2024 street and alley paving was E&B Paving for $872,162. So it would be my recommendation at this time that the board award the project to E&B Paving.
Second.
Motion and second to authorize the recommendation and award the bid to EMB. All those in favor, further discussion and consideration?
NDOT, based on the Community Crossings Grant we received, will pay for 50% of the streets. Not the alleys, just the streets. Yep.
Further questions? Not hearing any, we'll call for approval of the recommendation. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item is Long-Term Control Plan Project 7 and 8, Change Order Number 3. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutters.
Yes, long-term control plan, Project 7 and 8 is the large sewer project that is currently underway right now. They're working in multiple areas, working on this project. The big portion of the work is happening on LaFontaine Street as they're working towards West Park Drive. The change order number 3 that's before the board today is a change order associated with all of the hardness and the amount of rock that the contractor had to remove to install the big sewer pipe. This was specifically related to the area where we had the railroad crossing. Over behind the park building, over on West Park Drive, we had to tunnel underneath the railroad. It was a 96-inch diameter tunnel that the contractor bored underneath the railroad. With increased costs due to railroad inspectors, as well as the amount of time it took and the hardness of the rock to get through that project, there's a change order here to compensate the contractor and their subs for the work. The total for this change order also includes some dewatering and groundwater treatment associated with some work along LaFontaine Street. The total for this change order is $790,157.08. It'd be my recommendation at this time that the board authorize the mayor to sign change order number 3. The funding for this change order will come out of the contingency for the project.
Further discussion and consideration by board members.
Is it below the contingency?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have approximately $3.5 million of contingency on this project.
Yeah.
How much extra time did that add to the,
Specifically that area, it was about 45 additional days.
okay,
Not including weather.
Correct.
yeah.
45 working days.
Do they anticipate, I mean, we're in the Lime City. Do we anticipate hitting anything else like that?
They will continue to dig out rock, but they have been able to move a lot more efficiently in the area where they're at here, working above ground. Makes it a little easier. Like I said, underneath the railroad, you can't open cut. It was a tunnel, so they were a little more confined.
Okay.
Was this the original plan?
Yes.
Are we gonna have to go under any other railroad spots, or is it just that?
Not as
one?
part of this project, no. This was the only tunnel that had to be done.
Okay,
Everything else will be open cut.
great.
Further question or discussion by board members?
Can you give me that total one more time?
Yes. 790,157 and 8 cents.
8 cents.
Director Cutress, do you have handy the breakdown of what portion of that was due to the railroad inspector and additional requirements from the railroad?
Yes, so the majority of that was actually related to the railroad's direct expenses. We had to pay for an additional inspector that was unforeseen, as well as railroad monitoring. Part of the requirements are that we monitor the railroad to make sure it doesn't shift. So because of all of that, it was around almost $500,000 of that was railroad direct expenses that we paid through the contractor to the railroad.
How deep is the tunnel?
On the north side of the tracks, it was about 25 feet deep.
Okay. Further questions or discussion by board members? If not, we'll call the question in favor of approval of change order number 3 for long-term control plan projects 7 and 8. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the skate park geotechnical agreement amendment with SME. Is there a motion to open discussion and consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutress.
Yes, as the city is looking towards the replacement of our skate park in Yeoman Park, we originally contracted with SME. They're a geotechnical firm out of the local offices out of Fort Wayne to perform some soil borings and some ground investigations to determine what kind of conditions the contractors would have to work in so that this skate park could be designed appropriately. Through that, and also from previous knowledge, this area was a former railroad yard, and in doing some of their ground investigations, they did find some metals in the ground that they fully expected to find since it was a old railroad yard. We have since asked SME to provide us a ground and soil management plan so that we can dispose of the ground that we excavate out appropriately. The fee for that is $3,500, so we would be amending our original agreement with SME with an additional $3,500 so that we can get that done appropriately, so that we know how to dispose of the soils that are excavated from this site. So it would be my recommendation that the board signature on this amendment.
Discussion and consideration by board members.
How big of an area are they gonna test? Are they gonna test?
They tested the area, the size of the proposed skate park, which is approximately twice the size of what is currently there. So a little bit to the north of that, a little bit to the south, and they actually did one boring right through the middle of the current skate park.
Further questions? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the amendment to the agreement with SME regarding the geotechnical reports for the skate park. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving along, under new business, first item is a special event request from Jean Ann Bailey regarding the graduation party at Nick's Kitchen. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for discussion and consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Welcome. If you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Jean Ann Bailey, 595 Flax Mill Road, Fort Huntington,
Good to see you, Jean Ann.
2.
Go ahead and tell the board a little bit about your request today.
We want to have a graduation party, and we did it about 5 years ago, the same family. And what we did was we closed the street just north of Ness Brothers so that people could still get into the park to park. And we want to do that from 4 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, June, now I forget if it's 21st or 22nd. 23rd. Nice, thank you. June 23rd,
Park to Washington Street, is that right?
correct. I think it was Meg, and she just graduated from HU, so maybe 4, but
I asked her if it was last year.
4 years, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, Elle's graduating this year, so.
Yeah, it went off without a hitch.
It was great. Well, yeah, it rained at the very beginning. We were kind of worried about it, but yeah, it was fine. And there was hardly any people in the restaurant. We just put the food and the drinks in there, and people just came in and out and visited and mingled. And yeah, it was fine. It was nice.
Yep.
So,
Any items of consideration from department heads with the application circulated? Okay. Okay.
So this is a Sunday night. Are there any other businesses? I know most businesses downtown are closed Sunday and Monday. Is anybody in the area open on a Sunday night?
there isn't, the only thing that even in the area that's open is Laley's, and they're
they're around the
around the corner, and we wouldn't be closing off Washington Street, just the Jefferson Street. And the only thing else that's there is the apartments that are above the buildings on the west side of the street, above the theater and above the Jolene's and the beauty shop. And those people could still get in their parking spots or wherever they were gonna park if they were coming home for the day or the evening.
Okay.
So they wouldn't have to like park far away to move to,
You said it was from 4 to 7:30?
yeah.
Okay, you had this marked until 6. I was just
Or I have it marked until,
2 to
2 to
6.
6.
I was just making sure.
well, what time do I have it that it starts?
You had set up, it says 2 to 6 on the paperwork. I was just verifying.
You know what, that's probably
Or does it say 5 to
accurate.
8?
I should have gotten a copy of that before I take it.
I have two, we have two different, we have 5 to 8 and 2 to 6. So I mean, there's
Okay, so. Yeah, I think it is 2. I think the party starts at 3 because we close at 2, and they're gonna have it until 5, and then they're gonna get some time to
Okay.
clean up the tables and chairs. I'm sorry, I wish I would have been more prepared, but I wasn't even gonna come. I was sending my daughter-in-law, and she couldn't do it, so. The actual people that own Nick's Kitchen, so,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other questions by board members?
So the renters that live upstairs, since it'll be blocked off, can you let them know in advance so that way?
Sure.
They're not, oh, you have to go through the
yeah,
barricades or, you know,
yeah.
just so that they have a heads up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, it's a Sunday night. so-
There is a renter above where Metropolitan Title is now. I will let him know. But everybody else will be able to get in without any problems.
Yeah, that was my original concern when I saw this. I was thinking, I hope this isn't a Friday or Saturday.
No,
'cause
no.
I know it could have been,
No.
but yeah, if it's a Sunday
Yeah,
evening.
Sunday
and there's
evening.
no,
And
yeah.
that's why we chose Sunday evening, because it'll be easy. And
Okay.
Okay, now hearing further question or discussion, we'll call the question in favor of the request for the special event. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You did much better than some, it's fine.
Next item on the agenda is a sidewalk closure request at 8 North Jefferson Street and 53 West State Street. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, and I don't see Mr. Harvey with us today. Is there somebody related to the project to present the request? And s- And so both of these would be on the state route, correct? Yeah, so is there, Adam, with that in mind, is there anything locally other than they need to contact NDOT about any lane closure?
Yeah, I mean, if they're looking to set anything out in the street or do any kind of lane closures, they're gonna need to get with NDOT. Locally, I don't have any concerns. The sidewalks are plenty wide enough for traffic, as long as they're not, fully blocking it. So,
Right. And Adam, even if they are setting up scaffolding on the sidewalks, that would still be
it's still
overseen
technically
by
within
NDOT,
NDOT's
correct?
right-of-way, yes.
Yep,
On the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep. yeah, so, yep, as far as the board, there's no action today, and then if you could just refer back to them and let them know that they'll need, yep, and then if they need the contact at the state, Adam can supply that to them if they reach out to him. Next item on the agenda is a prospective employee consideration for the police department. Is there a motion to open discussion and consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. We have with us today Chief Boxell to present on the matter. Of course, the board members were briefed regarding details and particulars in executive session prior to the meeting. Chief?
Good afternoon. As you're aware, we're working to get our department to full staff. We're slated for 36 officers. We're currently at 34. This applicant would put us at 35. So after a long and extensive process that began in actually October of 2023, we're finally to this point seeking your approval on my recommendation to the hire of Abigail Fullerton as the next police officer for the city of Huntington.
With that then, we'll call the question for approval of the recommendation by Chief Boxell to hire Abigail Fullerton and make that offer. With that then, we'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Chief. Next item on the agenda is Board of Public Works and Safety Resolution 2024-3. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second.
All right, Resolution 2024-3, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington, Indiana, relating to the disposition of certain items of personal property. The Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington, Indiana, in meeting duly assembled after considering information deemed by it to be sufficient, finds whereas from time to time and in accordance with Indiana law, the city will dispose of personal property that is surplus and no longer needed. Whereas the city's water and park departments have personal property equipment that is in surplus and no longer needed, specifically a 2008 GMC Sierra with 132,560 miles, estimated $3,000 value, a 6-foot bush hog tiller, and estimated $700, and a V-blade plow, estimated value of $3,000. Whereas it was advantageous in the past, and because it already approved for the use by the state of Indiana, the Water and Park Departments are again requesting the use of govdeals.com auction website to sell personal property. And now therefore be it resolved by the board as follows. All property listed herein is surplus property and no longer needed by the city. The use of the govdeals.com auction website is approved for the sale of the listed street or Water and Park Department personal property, and that the mayor or its appointee have the authority to do such things and sign such documents as is necessary to implement this resolution. Be it resolved effective immediately upon approval.
Questions or discussion of the matter by board members? Okay, not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of Resolution 2024-3. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Board of Public Works and Safety Resolution 2024-4. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved. Ooh, second.
Motion and second.
Board of Public Works and Safety Resolution 2024-4, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington adopting and updating its ADA transition plan. The Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington, Indiana, in meeting duly assembled after considering information deemed by it to be sufficient, finds whereas the city receives federal funds for many uses and projects, and the receipt of such funds requires compliance with federal laws and policies, whereas certain policies and procedures for the Americans with a Disability Act in the form attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A, the ADA Transition Plan, have been presented to the board for its review and consideration, whereas the board has reviewed the ADA Transition Plan and deems it to be in the city's best interest to adopt the ADA Transition Plan. And now therefore be it resolved by the board as follows. The ADA Transition Plan, Exhibit A, is approved and adopted. This resolution is effective immediately upon approval.
Further discussion and consideration by board members? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval, Resolution 2024-4. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Next item on the agenda is Board of Public Works and Safety Resolution 2024-5. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Christie?
Resolution 2024-5, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington, Indiana, adopting a policy in accordance with Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Huntington, Indiana, in a meeting duly assembled after considering information deemed by it to be sufficient, finds whereas the city receives federal funds for many uses and projects, and whereas the receipt of such funds requires compliance with federal laws and policies, whereas certain policies and procedures for Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act in the form attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A, the Title VI policy, have been presented to the board for its review and consideration. Whereas the board has reviewed the Title VI policy and deems it to be in the city's best interest to adopt the Title VI policy, and now therefore be it resolved by the board as follows. The Title VI policy, Exhibit A, is approved and adopted. This resolution is effective immediately upon approval.
Further questions and discussion by board members?
Yeah, as I was reading through that, they had it set up for the phrasing, I think it was LAP, the less English proficient. Do we have a line that we call for that to find like a translator, or do we have somebody within the community, or how do we go about that?
Various departments have various approaches to the matter. So for instance, the police department, public safety, there's a 24/7 hotline that's utilized for that. Other departments are also starting to use that, and certain departments, we have staff that have had some familiarity with Spanish that have assisted with translating documents or otherwise.
Okay.
So,
All right. I found it really interesting reading it. I told him I was kind of being a nerd, looking at all the numbers, and actually found it quite interesting seeing the demographic changes in the community, and it's very interesting. So, okay.
Further questions or discussion? Okay, not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of Resolution 2024-5. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item under new business, Market Street Sewer Geotechnical Agreement with SME. Is there a motion to bring that to the table for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutress.
Yes, so as the city looks towards another project where we are looking at the extension of a sewer interceptor along Market Street, beginning at LaFontaine Street and going east all the way to Cherry Street. So it would cover State Street and Market Street. It's about 3 blocks in length. We need to perform some geotechnical work so that we can investigate rock depths, soil types, all of that, as well as develop groundwater sampling. And underneath this section of State and Market Street, there's also some existing railroad ties from the old interurban railroad. So part of this was also developing a plan to dispose of those appropriately, being that old railroad ties are generally considered hazardous waste. So we have enlisted the help of SME to perform all of that work. Their fee for that would be $41,500. It would be my recommendation at this time that the board authorize the mayor to sign this agreement so that we can begin all the geotechnical work that is needed for this project.
Further discussion and consideration by board members.
So this will be a report
Correct.
that they give to the design team?
Correct.
Okay. We don't need new railroad inspectors?
No, not on this one.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Further questions or discussion? Not hearing any, we'll call the question in favor of authorizing the agreement with SME to assist with the geotechnical for Market Street Sewer Project. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Warren Street Reconstruction Design Agreement. Is there a motion to bring that to the table for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Move.
Motion and second, 2 times over.
Christie.
Director Cutress.
Yes, again, another project that the city is just in the early phases of is the reconstruction of Warren Street. As I'm sure most of you are aware, the current state of Warren Street is all of it's a brick street with a lot of utility patches, and even the sections of it that are brick are not holding up to traffic. There's a pretty good picture of it right there. The city is also aware that the sanitary sewer main underneath it is in need of replacement as well, as old as it is and the condition that it is in. So we've enlisted the help of RQAW, a civil engineering firm, to design a roadway replacement as well as sanitary sewer line replacement underneath that street. They will be looking at it from 2 aspects. One, to maintain the brick, possibly replacing all of the bricks so that it remains as a brick street. The other option would be to converting it over to a fully asphalt street. So there are 2 different aspects of that we're looking at, but it would be a full replacement from curb line to curb line of that street. Their fee for doing such would be $260,874. That would be my recommendation at this time that the board authorize the mayor to sign this agreement with RQAW.
Further questions or discussion by board members regarding the Warren Street reconstruction design?
So the base bid will be asphalt and they'll have an alternate? Or,
One way or the other, that hasn't been decided yet.
okay.
But yes, both will be included.
Further questions or discussion by board members? Not hearing any this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the design agreement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Hannah Street Water and Sewer Project bid opening. Is there a motion to authorize opening bids?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutress.
Yes, the last thing I have for the board today is that there's a section of Hannah Street on the south side of the city, Hannah, Tracy, Olinger Street area, that there is currently no sanitary sewer nor water service that extends down Hannah Street to service 2 existing homes plus one additional future home to be built in this area. So the city is looking to extend water and sanitary sewer service to this area so that these homes can be connected to water and sewer. Current ones that exist are on wells and septics. So we'd be looking at installing this so that they could future connect to these utilities. I have received 2 bids today. We will open the first one from Exterior Service. The bid from Exterior Service is for $240,477.20. That's $240,477.20. The second bid I've received is from Fox Contractors. The number from Fox Contractors is $284,301. That's 284,301. It would be my recommendation at this time that the board take these under consideration, and we will report back at the next Board of Works meeting with a recommendation.
Is there a motion to take the bids under consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. To follow the recommendation to take the bids under consideration. Further discussion or questions by board members? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of the recommendation to take the bids under consideration. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Only other item under miscellaneous that I'm aware of is invitation to all in attendance. Tuesday, June 4th at 3 p.m. will be the swearing in for Abby Fullerton, which was the officer candidate under consideration by the board today, as well as promotions internally within the department. Next item on the agenda then is accounts payable. Is there a motion to authorize payment of the bills incurred by the city of Huntington?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration? Not hearing any, we'll call the question in favor of approval of paying the bills incurred by the city of Huntington. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.